Hi there. Thanks for joining the CMS Let's Talk New User Training. As we begin our training, you can go ahead and log into Let's Talk through your CMS portals page, or you can follow along as I'll be your tour guide today. If you need additional support after today, please contact Dr. Tasha Hall-Tyrell at the email below. She can help answer any questions you might have regarding this training or any future questions, and she can also navigate to me and include me if needed as well, so we can help get you support. Let's get started. The purpose of today's training is to show you two things. I want to show you exactly what customers see when they submit an inquiry from a website, as well as help navigate you through Let's Talk with your personal settings and how to reply to customers, as well as show you a little bit of the data part of Let's Talk. To get started, I'm going to show you what it's like as a customer to submit a dialogue through your district website or through the school site. For demo purposes, I will be submitting through my demo page, but this is the same experience a user will come across if they come to the district page of the school site. So, for example, I'm going to be using my Bond Public Schools Human Resources page to submit a demo form. I want to highlight what these are. These are called categories. So you see employment, staff support, and events and outings. But you will also see a mirage of blue topic buttons here. The beauty of Let's Talk is under all of these categories and these blue individual buttons. Under these blue buttons, everyone has a select team and a team owner. So as you can imagine, a group such as HR probably has a lot of different categories and a lot of different topics they deal with on a daily basis. Just like CMS, all of these can be put into categories where teams can individually answer these questions, but if we are an HR team, we can all answer and sparse out the responsibilities of the team to answer these questions. So that being, not everything is falling on one person's shoulders. The right questions go to the right people from the beginning, and it's not overwhelming anyone from the start. So you don't have anybody in an HR department that is answering all of these questions by themselves. There is a team of users and individuals behind each of these buttons that can best support these questions. And it's just like that at CMS, whether on the district site or at the school level. So let's get started submitting a form. I'm going to go ahead and submit a test form. And again, this is just a test form. Your forms on the site that you are a part of may look different. This is just to gather, for training purposes, what this might look like on the website. Once the customer, which can be a parent, a community member, sometimes an employee, depending on what your department you are in, is ready, they can submit a form. Once they submit that form, a couple of things will happen for them. You'll get a success message instantly, which tells them, hey, we've received your message, sincerely the CMS team, just giving them an idea that, hey, their feedback was heard, we're getting to it, thank you for your submission. They will also get the same message in an email, as well as a copy of the dialogue that they submitted for their receipts. So they do get that twofold. They get that instant success message, and they get a copy to their email to make sure that they have that for records. That's the customer portion. What happens next? If I navigate to my Let's Talk dialog, I should see this in my team inbox. So I will see that come in as soon as a customer submits an inquiry. Again, this is just the customer facing side. For you, it will look like this when they submit an inquiry. So this is what we call the dialog inbox. And this is what you will see when you log into Let's Talk as a new user. For now, we'll come back to this, but let's navigate to your settings first, which I think can be the most important part. To do that, we'll hover over our name. Click on settings. On the left-hand side, you'll have what you'll see as personal settings, and you should have 4 boxes under here. Don't worry about the rest of these. This is just a demo account. You will just have these personal settings more than likely. So let's start with your profile. Your profile is your name, your email address, and your photo. It also captures your email signature. The name, photo, and email signature can be updated at any time. So say you want to add a new photo, you get married, something of that nature, feel free to update that here. You also have the ability to upload your signature. So say you are in a special department, there's some special things going on. If the team has received an award or you've got a back to school logo you'd like to add, feel free to do that here. So that's your profile. Out of office is an option, but 95% of the districts that I work with don't use an out of office because the point of Let's Talk is to have a team behind those dialogues. So you won't need to use this. This is only beneficial if you're a one-man show. So this just lets people know that, hey, I'm out of office, and you can set out of office rules and have these navigate to someone else, but this isn't needed if you're part of a team. We really only encourage this if you're like a one-man person, maybe you're an OnBuds team member that's out for 3 days and you do these dialogues by yourself. That's when you'd use this. And at CMS, they use the account-wide out of office, so no need to use the out of office here. You also have your activity log and permissions. So this captures 30 days worth of data in your activity. So anything you do within Let's Talk will be recorded here. So if you need to go back and take a look, feel free. Then you also have your permissions. So you will see the topics that you are a part of, your role. It will be a team owner or a team member, and then the link. So this just gives you an idea at any given time what you're a part of. As your duties may expand, you'll see that here. And you'll also have a demo of what the topic looks like that you're a part of. So if you're brand new and you've got a part of 4 topics, you have no idea what these are, you can take a look at these and just know and familiarize yourself. This is what the form looks like, or this is what the customer is saying when they fill this out. And last but not least in your settings, I'd like to show you the notifications. This is probably the most important. As an owner or a team member, you have the option to set up email notifications or browser notifications. Let's start with the email notifications. The top 4 email notifications I would have on if I wanted to be a part of those, and it is highly suggested that you do so, is a new dialogue being received and a dialogue is assigned to me. I think these are the top 2 to notify you that, hey, there's a dialogue in my inbox and it's also been assigned to me. So as either a team owner or a team member, I would have these email notifications turned on. The other 2 that I believe would be 3 or 4 of most importance would be a response is received from the customer or a comment is added to the dialogue. So when a customer responds, I would suggest having an email notification on, or if a comment in general is added to a dialogue, I would go ahead and have that turned on as well, just so you don't miss anything. Again, these are probably 3 and 4 on the most important list, but just making sure you're aware of those. The beauty of having email notifications on is if you're not in Let's Talk all day, they pop into your inbox. You can click on those emails when you receive them and they will navigate you directly to Let's Talk. And then also too, it just kind of gives you that safeguard that if I do miss something, it's in my email. Now, that being said, I do know folks that do not like to have those email notifications. So you do have the option for browser notifications. I have several team members and several people at districts that use this because they prefer this style. But I would simply toggle this button on, allow permission, and then I'll get the Let's Talk notifications alerts here. Now, something to point out that anytime you make changes to any of these notifications, make sure you hit save to save that. But this just allows the notifications to be on as I'm navigating my day. I can get these notifications so that, hey, there's something in my inbox, or I've been mentioned in a dialogue, something of that nature. I do highly recommend email. That way, if you're, if you're in a position where you're on the go a lot, you can log into your email and log into Let's Talk that way. But if you're someone that's at your desk, you'd like to receive those browser notifications versus email, you can totally do that. Just wanted to show you the 2 options. Again, make sure you hit save to save those notifications. But as a new user, when logging in, this is the first place I would navigate is to my name, to my settings, under personal settings, and make sure my notifications are turned on and ready to go. Now let's get into the dialogue. So when a customer submits a dialogue, this goes directly to my team inbox or assigned to me if I'm the owner of that topic. So for example, we're just going to pretend that I'm a team member today. A customer submitted a dialogue and it goes into my inbox. I'm going to click on that and open up the dialogue, which looks like this. This is a 2-panel action, so you'll see the left panel navigates on its own. This just has details about the dialogue. And then the right is really the meat of the dialogue. This has the customer message as well as the timeline communication, and that also toggles as well. We'll start on the left-hand side. This really contains customer information, their email, their phone number. This also contains what I like to call a frequent flyer number. So if you have a customer that has submitted multiple dialogues, you can click on this to get an idea of what they have submitted. Now, keep in mind, if you're not a team member on some other topics that maybe they have submitted to, you won't be able to see these or click into these, but you will be able to see what they have submitted prior. So you can't click in, but you can see the subject, the name, that kind of thing. I would suggest just keeping mind of this if you do have a customer that submits dialogues regularly over and over again, or maybe they've submitted things by accident multiple times. It just gives you insight to test, if you get a dialogue that is kind of temperamental, you can click on this, kind of find out information. Maybe you need to reach out to another team member because they've submitted the same question 5 times to a different topic, that kind of thing. So just keep in mind that's there for you to understand kind of what the customer has submitted prior and how to navigate if you do get something that's a little different. Under here you'll have dialogue details. Everything comes in as a P2. Most of things stay that way. If you do have something that is of urgent need, you can change it to a P1. Most folks don't use a P3 as a low priority, as it just stays at P2 for normal. But if you do have something that's a 911 and you need to include other team members, you can use that. Here you have the status. So right now the dialogue is unopened. Most of the time I'm going to move this to in progress. This just means the dialogue's opened, the dialogue clock has started aging, we're good to go. Pending details is only used in circumstances when I have a customer that has emailed in, but I need additional information from them to move forward with their request. So say they have something specific like an employment interest or transportation verification, something of that nature, but I need the child's info or I need their info to continue moving forward on any of those things. I can put this in pending details while I wait for their answer in order to keep moving. Again, we just want to make sure we're using pending details appropriately, because when we do that, it stops the dialogue aging clock, which rightfully so if you're waiting on information from them, but we do want to make sure it's just in those extreme circumstances. We don't want to do this while we, work on things on our end. It's only if we're waiting on something from the customer. You can also close the dialogue here, but more times than not, you're going to do it from this reply to customer, and I'll show you how. The next thing I want to show you is the dialogue assignment. When it comes in, it'll show you the topic that it came into, the owner, and the team members associated. You make it something that is not for your topic. So say someone accidentally submitted something to the topic and it's not for you. The beauty of Let's Talk is allowing you to collaborate with everyone inside CMS. So whether you're at the school level or you're at the division level, if this comes into HR as an employment request, but really it was an accidental transportation request, or we'll say activities committee request, I can go here and say, oh, that was not for me. Let me send this to the activities committee because that really is for them. Then I can make the comment down here, just kind of like Facebook, and make that comment and just say, hey, activities committee, this is for you. Post that comment, and that will fall into their inbox. So this will no longer be in your inbox if it goes to the other topic. So keep in mind that if it is something that you need to have eyes on, but you need additional help, I would suggest adding team members here or looping them into the dialogue here. Again, this reminds me of Facebook, so think about that. I can add a team member here. Lucy Bond, I need help. I can post that, and that will loop them into this dialogue only. So they don't have to be a team member of your team to be looped into a dialogue. So let's repeat that. If you change the topic, you only want to change the topic if it is truly not meant for your team. You get something, say you're in HR, and it comes in as, an employee, interest form, right? It's definitely not for employee interest. It's for activities committee. I can switch that, or maybe it was for transportation. I can switch that dialogue assignment, but I do want to switch that dialogue assignment and make that courtesy note that, hey, I'm changing topics, just as an FYI, giving that team a heads up that you're changing topics and why. Reminder, once this leaves your inbox, you can no longer communicate on this dialogue and it will be out of your inbox. So only change the topic if it's truly not for you. If it is something that's for your team, but it requires additional assistance, so maybe it is something for the activities committee, but it requires stuff from HR too, you can keep this in your inbox add team members that will be able to jump into this one dialogue only. So just because you add a team member here doesn't mean they see all of the dialogues. It's just for this one by either adding the team member here or adding them in the timeline. I think it's important to differentiate again. If you change the topic, it's gone. If you add team members, you can co-collaborate with someone from other teams within the inbox. So that's the left-hand panel, just the basic overview of the details, how to change teams and topics, customer information. Let's jump into the right side panel. This really is the meat of a dialogue. This will show you the topic up here, the dialogue aging clock, but you will also have a specific dialogue number. This is really important to reference when working with other teams. Say you're talking about something outside of Let's Talk or referencing something inside of a meeting, you have a specific dialogue number here that can be searched by anyone who needs to take a look on your team, or if your supervisor, something of that nature. You can take this dialogue number, search it in the inbox. So if you have a supervisor that needs to take a look at that, they can type this number in this search bar and take a look. One thing to keep in mind too, if you're having trouble with a dialogue, this is technology. So say you're trying to reply to a customer, it won't let you, something of that nature, and you need to reach out to Dr. Tyrell, you can reference a specific dialogue number and that will help her navigate to the issue at hand. You also have these three little blue buttons at the top. If you click on those, you can forward this dialogue to someone outside of Let's Talk. So they cannot collaborate inside of Let's Talk, but if there's someone that needs to see it, maybe somebody at the division level or something that's not in Let's Talk, you can forward this to them. You can also mark things as spam. So say you're getting spam emails from a local company, they've submitted a request online, you can mark things as spam, and you do have a spam inbox over here to the left. So if you accidentally do that, we can take care of it. And you can also download the dialogue here in a Word format or PDF format. So say you're going to a meeting, you won't have your computer, or you want to take printouts to show everyone because they may not be able to see the dialogue because they're not part of the team, you can download that and print that out here. But let's get into the good stuff. So this is the original customer message, and while we're here. So anything they submit from that form will be under this original message. Any questions they answered, the meat of their dialogue, which again, this is very small because it was a test, but some of these can be pretty lengthy if they submit questions. You're ready to reply to the customer. So we can hit reply to customer, and this will bring up the customer reply. Here we can start crafting our reply. And do a couple of different things. So once you're ready to reply, you can CC someone. So you do have the ability to CC someone who's in Let's Talk or outside of Let's Talk so they can get a copy of the email. You can generate an AI response, but please keep in mind if you do these things to make sure you read over the AI response before sending. And then we also have something really cool called response templates. I think response templates are great and a great use of time saving. If you get questions on a daily basis or a weekly basis that you answer 10, 20, 30 times, you can create response templates so that when I come in here to reply to this customer, I can simply go to this response template because I know, hey, I've been asked this 100 times. I can apply this response template. Here we go. I can send this dialogue as closed. Now, how we create those response templates, say I have crafted a really great email, and it has the right information on who to contact, where to contact, and I want to use this in the future. I would craft my email. Before I send, make sure you go down here to this floppy disk where it says save, and save as template. I can give the template a name, update the body, make it a little prettier if I'd like, and do those things here, add bullet points just like you would a regular email, and then save. And then next time I send an email regarding that topic, I can go to my response templates and simply put that in there. So that will save me some time, literally can answer certain dialogues within a few seconds. When they come in, I know this is a response template and I can send that CAM response template as closed. When I'm ready to reply to the customer, there's a couple of different ways I can reply. I would say 90% of the replies are going to be sent as closed. They're one and dones, you're ready to go. But I do have other options if I click on this arrow. If I don't want to send it as closed and I just want to send a note to the customer saying, hey, I'm working on this. I'll respond to you tomorrow. You can send it as in progress. It's nice to let the customer know that you're working on this, and you can send it as in progress and keep the dialogue aging clock open while you work on it. Again, if they've sent you something that you need more information on, maybe it's transportation information, you need student information they haven't provided, you can reply to the customer and say, hey, I've received your request. I need additional information to move forward, and send us pending details. That will stop the dialogue aging clock above, so you aren't penalized for that. Also, again, 90% of these, like I said, will be sent as closed. Will be one and dones. So you can just send as closed as well, but you can navigate how you send those here. So we're going to send this as closed. And as you can see, the dialogue has been closed. Now, keep in mind that for up to 2 weeks, a customer can reply to your email. And if they do, that will auto open the email again. So that, or the dialogue. So the dialogue will start aging again, will be moved to in progress, and you can respond to the customer. But that's even more important why it is important to have those email notifications turned on for that. One thing I do want to mention about the dialogue aging clock is that this only ages during business hours. So, and the weekends, after hours, holidays, this does not age and penalize you. So the only time it ages is while you're at work. So just keep that in mind. And finally, let's go to the timeline. This really is the communications, comments, the log for everything that goes on in the dialogue from the time the dialogue is open to the close. So as you can see here, it starts as soon as the dialogue is received from the customer, lets you know when the dialogue has been opened, any topics that may have switched, any internal comments, and it also captures a customer email. So if you do have this open as in progress and you're working on things, if you do reply to the customer several times, you'll see that here. If the customer replies to you, you'll also see that here. Everything that happens in the dialogue will be captured here. Just something to keep in mind. This is subject to public records, so do keep in mind that at any time a supervisor or anyone can see this, so please make sure you keep this professional. But this is the dialogue timeline. So essentially, keep in mind, anything that happens in the dialogue is saved here. So that is the right side of the dialogue. We've covered the customer information, how to add team members and change topics, the meat of the dialogue, how to reply to customers, timeline, how to forward, download dialogues here within this. But I do want to show you how to get data for your topics. So not only is Let's Talk a superior two-way communication platform, we also capture data so you can share with your team and share with supervisors and things of that nature how well the team is doing. So if you go to this bar graph over here and click on this, this is what we call your dashboard. And again, be mindful that some of these things may be different for you, but you can filter your dashboard however you'd like. So you can do all-time, custom date range this week, but just shows you exactly what's going on your team. So anything that you were a team member or a team owner of, you can see those dialogue experiences here. Also gives you an idea of what's going on. You have the community voice. So if for some reason, you see a big word here highlighted, say it's website or freshman, we can navigate over this and say, hey, the intensity is really high and the sentiment's really negative. I think there might be something going on here. And I can click on that and see the dialogues for my team that have used this word. I can really identify a crisis before it becomes a problem by using this dashboard, this community voice. It also just shares with you dialogue metrics like customer type, entry point, customer frequency, and dialogue activity, as well as top topics. As your Let's Talk grows, you may grow your topics here, but you may only have 1 or 2 topics here for now. Within this data dashboard, you can also save this, download this to show, to take to meetings. You can also share this. So if you want to share with a supervisor or share with someone within Let's Talk or outside of Let's Talk too, you can send this to them via email. So just wanted to show you, you do have the capability to showcase all of your hard work. Make sure you're staying on top of past due dialogues. So if something happens and your team has 2 past due dialogues, anybody can click on this and get insight on what's going on there. But really just for your information to kind of showcase like how well you are doing and how to navigate data. Thank you for coming to the CMS New User Training. As discussed, if you have further questions, you can contact Dr. Tasha Hall-Tyrell, who is at the beginning of this presentation. Her email address is there, who can then escalate it to me. I appreciate your time. and congratulations on your role at Sam.